Hello kids, would you like to listen to a story now? Well, it's story time. Come join me. Once upon a time, in a big wide jungle where there were lush green trees and a beautiful river flowing through, there lived a big... What animal do you think is big? Indeed, a big elephant with a big long trunk. And one day, this big elephant was so thirsty. It thought, I need to drink some water. And so it went. Where do you think it went? Of course, to the beautiful river in the jungle. And it put its trunk in. And isn't that how elephants drink? It sucked and sucked and sucked and sucked and drank up all of the water that it wanted to. And now that its thirst was quenched, the elephant walked back happily to its home. Thandana, thani thandana. Thandana, thani thandana. But there was something that stopped the elephant's happiness. It was not any wild animal. It was the elephant's trunk. As it looked down at its trunk, the trunk turned red and swollen, and it began to irritate the elephant. Poor Ane the elephant was staring at his trunk, and the trunk began to speak to him. And do you know what the trunk said? The trunk said, I want to leave this body. I want to leave this body. Ane was shocked and felt very sad that his beautiful trunk... Isn't an elephant's trunk beautiful? But poor Ane, the trunk wanted to leave the body and go away. Why would his trunk want to leave him? Ane thought. It made him very, very sad. And he sat down with tears in his eyes. And just then came by his wonderful flying friend. Can you guess who it was? Yes, indeed it was a bird. A pretty little green colored bird called Dovey that came flying by to Ane the elephant. Chitti chilakama, amma kottinda, totakelava, pandu techava, gutlo petava, gutukumingava. Little Dovey came and landed right next to Ane the elephant. And then she noticed that her friend was very sad. Doesn't it worry you when your friend becomes sad sometime? And so Dovey was worried too. And Dovey looked at Ane the elephant and asked, What is it? What is making you so sad? And why do you have these tears in your eyes, my dear friend? And Ane replied, Can you see my trunk? All red and swollen, and it wants to leave me and go away. Can you believe that? That's so sad indeed. And Dovey started thinking, what can I do about it? Yes, I have an idea. I can get my dear friend Kanni the mouse. He is small, not big at all. Though small in size, he is very wise. Would you like to take his help? Now Ane didn't have any choice and he said, All right, bring Kanni the mouse. And so little Dovey flew across the jungle right down to her friend Kanni the mouse. And there he was scurrying around on the ground. Kur 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 kur. And Dovey said, Kanni, Kanni, come here. I need your help. Little Kanni looked up. What is it? You see my friend, Arnie the elephant? He is in trouble. Could you please help him? Well, little Kanni was one of those helpful little friends whom we have around us. And Kanni immediately hopped on Dovey's back. Dovey and Kanni together flew across the jungle and came right down next to Arnie the elephant. They swooped and landed. Thank you for coming, said Arnie. He was very, very sad, you know. He didn't have any hope that anybody could help him. And there was his trunk, still speaking and shouting. I want to leave this body. I want to leave this body. Kanni the little mouse heard. I will help, he said. He took out his toolbox, wore his specs, put on his stethoscope, and started checking Arnie's trunk. Just as the doctor does when you go to the hospital, just like that. And he checked, and he checked, and he checked. And then he pulled the trunk. He looked right into the 2 holes there. Have you noticed? The elephant's trunk has 2 holes. He peered into one hole, and then he peered into the other. And then he stopped to think and said, I think I know what the problem is. He turned to Dovey. Get me a feather. Get you a what? A feather. You heard me right. Get me a feather. And so Dovey flew and quickly came back with a feather. While Dovey and Arnie were both wondering, what is little Kanni the mouse going to do with the feather? I'm sure you're wondering too. Kanni pulled the trunk, put the feather inside, and he tickled Arnie so much. Arnie laughed and laughed. And suddenly he sneezed, the biggest sneeze of his life. Achoo! As he sneezed, out fell. Can you guess? Out fell a crab, which started crawling. And it said, oh, thank you for getting me out of that sticky, smelly trunk. Have you ever been inside an elephant's trunk? Well, the crab had, and he knew how sticky, icky it was. And he said, thank you, Kanni the mouse, for getting me out from there. Arnie the elephant was staring at the crab with his big wide eyes and extremely thrilled and happy. So it wasn't my trunk, it was this crab. Thank you so much, Kanni. Thank you for saving my life. And Kanni said, well, you're most welcome, anytime for a friend. And that is how Arnie the elephant was saved by Kanni the little mouse. And he went back happily to the jungle. Tandana, tane tandana. Tandana, tane tandana. Bye bye.
శ్వాసకోశ సంబంధిత ఇబ్బందులు, రుగ్మతలు వీటికి యోగా చిన్న చిన్న పరిష్కారాలు ఎలా ఉంటాయి అనేది మనం గమనిద్దాం.